This is ALI, Andrews Leadership International Television Network. Inspiration, motivation, and the word. Welcome to a John A. Andrews Minute for January 9th, 2020. The 9th day in January, the first 9 days in the new year. It is my pleasure to be with you, and today I'm going to talk about writing. Yes, I'm finally going to get back to you and how you can launch a very successful writing career. I'm going to break it down in a couple of blocks, and I hope that you get the gist as I list these very important talking points. Number one, you want to lay your project out in 3 phases. And it is said that things that are done in threes is very appealing. In writing your book, you want to lay out your beginning, your middle, and your ending. What you put in those is going to depend on what type of book you're writing. If you're writing your biography, you may want to lay out maybe 15 years in the beginning, 10 years in the middle, and maybe another 10 years in the ending. Of course, if you're more than 35, you would want to spread it out. You can always go back and flip that. You can write the ending first, you can write the middle, and then the beginning, or you can write the middle, the ending, and then go back to the beginning. What I've done with some of my books, more so my novels, is that some of them I've written the beginning, the middle, and the ending. Like what I did with Rude Boy, the first novel in the Rude Boy series, I wrote the beginning, the middle, and the ending. The book I'm currently writing, which goes to print in about 7 days, I decided to write the middle first. Then I went back and I wrote the beginning, and then I'm going to write the ending. When I wrote Who Shot the Sheriff, I wrote the beginning, the middle, and the ending. Also, I'm going to talk with you about how you can speed up the writing process when you write your books. So stick a pin, I'll be right back.
New York is situated in the northeast region of the United States of America. Over 8 million people call the Big Apple home, and the city attracts up to 50 million visitors a year.
NYC is the new novel series from author John A. Andrews. Set in the city that doesn't sleep, New York City. Catch them at Amazon.com. You're watching Andrews Leadership International Television Network. Okay, so let's talk about speeding up the process in writing. Of course, you're writing your book. When you're writing a novel, you can look at, do I want to do the ending first? Or do I want to lay out the story for the ending? Usually I found out that whenever I've laid out the ending of a particular novel, that novel seems to be the fastest novel I write, because I know what is going to be happening in the end, so I rush towards that climax. When I wrote Who Shot the Sheriff 1, that book took me 3 weeks to write. I did the beginning, the middle, and the ending. I knew how the ending was going to be structured. It was visible in my head. When I went to bed at night, I just formulated everything that is going to go towards the climax, the ending. When I wrote A Snitch on Time, that was the fastest novel I wrote, which took 2 weeks. I started the beginning, the middle, and the ending, and that's how I wrote that book. That took 2 weeks. Well, I had just come off of writing Who Shot the Sheriff, which is a similar style novel, so I had it done packed. I visualized the courtroom. I know how the courtroom is set up, the prosecution, the defense, the judge, the lawyers arguing the case, the witnesses. I had that whole setting down packed. So then I just had to go out and structure the crime. What happened in the crime? How do I collect the evidence? How do I collect the forensics, the DNA? And then I had the jury just give a verdict. When I wrote my last book, Until Death the Doors Part, I wrote that in multiple sections, but what I did is that the jury deliberation, that is about 30 plus pages. I went deep into the jury deliberation. Also, well, the trial, the courtroom trial, I went deep into that. And also the crime, I went deep into that. The book I'm currently writing is a very different type of story. There's a lot involved in the crime setting, the forensics, the DNA. The trial is very elaborate trial. And then at the end of the story, I decided I'm going to do a very short jury deliberation. So there are different styles in writing your book, different ways you want to set it up. This has been your John A. Andrews Minute. This is ALI, Andrews Leadership International Television Network. Inspiration, motivation, and the Word.